Iraqi troops have already pulled out of Kuwait. Our reporter Christopher Morris is with the Allied forces searching north along the coast road to Kuwait's capital, drawing under a fierce onslaught from the Allies.
The situation is that overnight the various forces here, the Egyptians,
But if we can just go back to before the season started, the shock of last season really when you came so close to going down, what sort of an effect did that have on the whole club, do you think?
Coming into a new season, you know, we had a difficult season last season and it all was based on the Newcastle game. But full credit to the lads for winning that, and it kept us in the second division. We've came this year and the manager Colin Todd's brought a few new faces to the club and they've all been a success and we're doing okay at the minute.
Did you always feel that last year you were in a false position, that you really weren't a relegation team?
Yeah, of course I did, but you know, some people thought, oh, we'll get promotion, no problem, and maybe that's when the problems start, you know, people get carried away, but it was a very difficult season last season, and disastrous really.
Middlesbrough's season began in August with a goalless draw against West Ham at Essen Park in front of a crowd of almost 21,000.
That's a great ball from Walker. A shot coming in for Slaven. Brilliantly pushed over by McCloskey. Bernie Slaven, 32 goals he got last season. And he fires in the first real shot of this match.
Colin, it's certainly been an eventful time since you took over the helm at Middlesbrough. Are you fairly pleased with the amount of progress you have managed to make so far?
Well, looking back at the time when I first took over, which was in the March time, that was very traumatic. But I think since then, I mean, I've learned from that experience, and looking at this season, I think we've started off very well. I still think there's a lot of improvement in the players, but it's pleasing to see how well the players are doing.
Jimmy, a lot of players have come to Middlesbrough during 1990. What sort of an atmosphere was there here when you turned up to Essen Park first?
There was a lack of self-confidence, I think, in a lot of players because of the way the season had gone. But the mood in the dressing room was still good. There was quite a lot of characters in the dressing room, and I think people felt we were in a false position. And this season we've probably proved it by being, I think we're 7th in the table now and going quite well.
You certainly pushed it all the way though last season. You really couldn't come much closer to being relegated. That whole experience of the Newcastle game down here, for somebody who'd come up to the area, was that quite an experience?
Yeah, it was quite a nerve-wracking experience towards the end of the season with the 7 games, I think, where we had chances to get out of it and kept losing at home against teams when we were 2-0 up, and to let it go to the Newcastle game and make it so dramatic as that was a bit nerve-wracking, but we came through that, and it's a situation I don't want to be involved again in, I don't think.
There was another good crowd at Essen Park a few days later when Tranmere were the visitors in the Rumbelows Cup. Skipper Tony Mowbray heading the Borough in front after the half-hour mark from John Walk's accurate free kick. The goal looks even better in slow motion. Walk picking out Mowbray at the far post and Eric Nixon having no chance. But it was a set piece that brought Tranmere level in the second half. This time Vickers popping that one in from 25 yards, giving Pears equally no chance. Final score, Middlesbrough 1, Tranmere 1, all square going into the second leg at Prenton Park.
Tony, can't have been a very easy end of season for yourself with all the problems that were going on at the club and you forced to sit it out. How hard was that for you when you're so used to being right in the heart of things?
Yeah, it was very difficult. I think you sometimes hear football managers talk about how difficult it is sat in the dugout and their team's out there and they'd rather be out there. It was very similar. You can understand what they mean when they say something like that now. Sat in the stand struggling against relegation, it came right down to the bone in the last game, Newcastle. I remember sat in the stand up there and I mean I was jumping on my chair and everything when the goals were going in. It's so nerve-wracking and as you say you do literally bite your fingernails and everything. It was a really tense time, yeah.
John, if we just look back to the summer, how big a decision was it for you to come to Middlesbrough when the chance came up?
Well, obviously, I mean, it was an almighty decision because, I mean, people thought, let's say, Leeds would get back into the First Division, and I thought I would have just stayed there and sort of tried to get the glory years with Leeds again. But the way it's turned out, I mean, it's been a great move for me.
Into September, and a 1-1 draw at Plymouth with Bernie Slaven getting his first of the season was followed by Borough going through to the second round of the Rumbelows with a 3-2 aggregate win over Tranmere. And then it was back to Essen Park for the visit of Notts County. John Walk converting this, his first goal of the season, from a superb cross by Stuart Ripley. Not the most elegant of goals, it has to be said, but Walk was in the right place at the right time to poke the ball in from a couple of yards.
Yeah, it's certainly been an eventful year since you came to Middlesbrough. How much of a different place is it now than when you first came to the side when things weren't too easy?
Oh, it's a much more different place. You know, when I came here last season, the confidence was very low here, and we had a very sort of indifferent patch. But we scraped away at the end of the season, and this season with all the the close season buys and everything, we've started off not bad.
A lot of competition for places though at the moment, isn't there? You've had to battle for your place as well.
Yeah, everybody says competition for places is healthy, and and I agree with that. Personally, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it keeps me on my toes. You don't sort of get complacent, so for me it's not a problem.
A week later and Borough's unbeaten start in the league continued with a 3-1 win at Swindon. But it wasn't all Borough. Swindon had a great first half. This is superb save from Stephen Pears. Pears doing well there to dive away to his right. The ball coming in. And another superb save there from the Borough keeper. And it really was Steve Pears against Swindon in the first half. This another superb save. Full stretch, diving to his right and making sure that he kept the ball, having done all the hard work. But action at the other end, Bernie Slaven this time going close for Borough. Good save there by Fraser Digby and off the line by a fellow Swindon defender. Good work again by Swindon. And there's Duncan Shearer putting Swindon in front after 27 minutes. And here's Fitzroy Simpson again. Shot coming back off the post. Oh, Shearer so close to giving Swindon a 2-goal advantage, but Borough came back with a vengeance. This is their first. Bernie Slaven poking it in from close range after 51 minutes. And Swindon on the attack again. Borough outnumbered at the back. Oh, and Steve Pears grateful to see that one go past the far post. Borough back on the attack. Here's Robbie Mustoe inside the box. Oh, a nice turn from him, and that's goal number 2 for the Borough. And Mustoe's delighted. Good tackles there on the edge of the Swindon area as the home side come close again. Another good save from Steve Pears. Oh, that's a terrible back pass from Steve Foley. Slaven won't miss from there, surely. No, he doesn't. A terrible back pass by Swindon Steve Foley. Slaven in the box, unmarked. Buries it in the back of the net. It's Swindon 1, Middlesbrough 3.
Alan, it's been a good season for you so far because for such a long time you've been battling to either get a place at the front or the place at the back, and now you feel you must have got a consistent position now.
Yeah, it's nice now, as you say, I've been up and back all the time, not really knowing where I'm going to play.
always thinking myself as a centre forward, but now it's turned out that I'm a centre half, and I'm really enjoying it.
You don't really mind which end of the pitch you play, as it were?
Well, I've started to, think within myself that maybe I prefer centre half now, because I always used to like playing centre forward because of the glory of the goals and that, although I never used to score too many. But as I say, I'm really enjoying playing at the back and starting to get a good relationship with the lads. Yeah.
Paul, it's been a fairly up and down year for the club and a fairly up and down year for yourself. There is a lot of competition for places now at Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I was outside at the start of the season and picked up a shoulder injury in the first week, I think, really. Came back and played after about 9 games of the season, and been there ever since, really, with a lot of competition to come in and take my place if I slip up.
A lot of competition for midfield places, particularly because the team has always worked very hard from midfield, hasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of our play comes through midfield. We don't hit many long balls, and Mark Proctor's recovering from a couple of operations. Trevor Putney's come back now, with John Walk missing the other night. He's there coming back in, so really there's a lot of people ready to take your place.
You know, like Trevor Putney, I know he's going to be wandering around the back now, I know what he's like. But Trevor's had the job of keeping the spirits up during the summer, because with a bad injury, that was the sort of thing that he had to do to keep the morale going, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, he's a bit of an idiot anyway, Trev, so it's quite good that the injury happened to him, because he keeps his spirits up, and the 8 months probably went quicker for him than it would for most people.
He's gone now. What's the atmosphere like compared to 6-8 months ago, when things were really difficult here, weren't they?
Yeah, but it's always dictated to you, the dressing room atmosphere, by the results, really, and everybody can look back and say it was an unhappy dressing room with Bruce Friel, but it wouldn't have been that way if we'd been winning. Colin Todd's an easier going fellow, I'd say, in his approach. The dressing room is certainly happy at the moment, but it would be no different if we were getting beat every week.
2 days later, after that win at Swindon, Borough on the road again, but this time they fell to Port Vale by 3-1. Despite that defeat, there was another good crowd for the visit of Oldham, many people's tip for the Second Division Championship. Good save there from John Hallworth, the Oldham keeper. Into the second half, still 0-0. Oldham building through Rick Holden. Here's Roger Palmer. Oh, that's a great shot, and that's 1-0 to Oldham. A superb strike from Roger Palmer. Steve Pearce unable to do anything about that. Corner to Borough. Overhead kick. 2 overhead kicks. Oh, John Walk coming so close there to an equaliser. Oldham having difficulty getting the ball away, but they do in the end. That was so close to a Middlesbrough equaliser, but it finished Middlesbrough 0, Oldham 1.
Trevor, it must feel rather strange for you to be described right towards the end of the year as like a new signing for a club that you've been with nearly all the year. Is that what you feel, like a new player coming back into the club after missing 8 months of the year with a broken leg?
Yes, I mean, it's lovely to get back and get involved with the players again, with the boys. That's what you miss, the day-to-day banter with the lads and that, when you're out there, you're at home, stuck indoors doing nothing, And it was nice to get back and actually join in training with them, and even like a bigger bonus to get back in and start playing with them again.
The following week it was a Tyne-Tees derby against Newcastle in round 2 of the Rumbelows Cup. Borough dominated the game throughout and might well have scored more than the 2 Robbie Mustoe got. Baird on the ball for Borough. Inside the box, the ball turned across. There is Mustoe, close range, 1-0 to Borough. And the Newcastle defence and goalkeeper John Burridge asking questions of themselves on that occasion. There's Mustoe, took the goal very well indeed from Ian Baird's cross. So Borough 1 up. They continue to press forward. Another cross coming in. This is Hendry. Oh, and Baird so close to number 2. Probably thinks he should have scored. Hendry again. Lovely turn by him. Goes round the defender. Gets the ball back. Does Hendry. Another cross. There's Baird. Oh, so close to a second goal. And John Burridge none too happy with the Newcastle defending. Into the second half then. Borough still a goal up. Nice turn there. Here's Mustoe inside the box. Goes round Burridge. 2-0. A great goal by Mustoe. Excellent build up here. Mustoe going round the defender inside the box, taking the ball past Burridge. 2-0 to Middlesbrough, and that's the way it ended.
Do you think maybe you're starting to prove one or two people wrong? Because maybe when you did get the job, one or two people thought, well, promoting from inside, the coach, maybe they should have got a new man in. That you've managed to turn one or two people around?
Well, I think that people will always have their opinion. I mean, that's what football's about, opinions. But fortunately, I got the job, I enjoyed it. And I might be making people look up now and think twice, but there's still a long way to go. Consistency is what we strive for here. We need that as players, and we need it as a team. And let's hope that we can keep it going.
Colin's come in and turned things around already this season. Well, come in, I mean, he was a very familiar face to everyone. What sort of difference has he made since he moved up into the manager's chair?
Yeah, he's done a great job, you know. He's came here, the training's great, you know. I'm not saying it wasn't great under Bruce Rioch, but it is good. The harmony's right back in the dressing room. And it's just great, you know, as long as the results go, obviously that causes good harmony in the dressing room. And as long as we keep getting the results, I don't see any problem. But Colin Todd's done a great job.
Leicester were the next visitors to Ayresome Park, and they were soundly beaten by 6-0 as Borough jumped 6 places up the second division table. Leicester boss David Pleat, concerned that his side were conceding too many goals, brought in Liverpool reserve Mike Hooper on loan. He was soon in action. Jimmy Phillips heading in from close range, goal number 1 for Borough after 6 minutes. Then 3 goals in the space of 4 minutes at the end of the first half. Hendry blasting in the second one between Hooper and his near post. Paul Kerr got number 3. And then Slaven scored a tremendous goal to make it 4-0 to Borough. (4-0) then at half-time, and 5 minutes into the second half it was 5. Ian Baird scoring his first of the season. And then Paul Kerr made it a great day for Borough, scoring number 6. Hooper had a debut he'd wanted to get quickly. Borough on the rampage. It finished Middlesbrough 6, Leicester City 0.
And as long as Bernie Slaven keeps scoring goals, because always people expect you to score all the goals, don't they?
That's right. You know, I think I've only scored 1 at home this season up to now. But I'm not too worried about goals. You know, I'll always get a few, but as long as the lads contribute to the goals and we're in a good position in the league, that's the most important thing. I'm not out for Bernie Slaven, I'm out for Middlesbrough.
You and Colin do want the team to play as well, not just to do well, don't you?
Well, at the point, I mean, we've been brought up in footballing teams, and whereas we do want Middlesbrough to play, we need success more than anything, and if now and again it means belting it out of that end so we can play in the other end, that's fair enough. But as you say, we've been brought up to play football, and we hope that we can get them playing some football so the crowd enjoys it as well.
What were the things that you tried to change that you think might have worked?
I mean, I brought new players in, which obviously has helped, because I think they've been better than the ones we did have. But the other thing is, I think we've, as well as being a footballing side, we've probably been more direct, which has certainly helped us. And myself and David, we like to be bubbly all the time, and I think that rubs off on the players. And I think we have a lot of respect.
Into October, and it was a goalless draw at Newcastle, but once again Steve Pearce, the Borough hero. Borough pushing forward. This is Baird on the far side, challenged by Aitken. Baird inside the box, shoots. Oh, that wasn't far away. John Burridge, glad to see that one go past his right hand post. Newcastle on the attack. This is Quinn. Shot coming in. Oh, good save there from Pears once again. Dive into his right. Newcastle on the attack again. Headed away by Mowbray. Oh, that's a great save by Pears from Roy Aitken. Really, Pears standing between Newcastle and probably 2 or 3 goals in this match. That was an excellent save, and one of the reasons why it finished goalless.
Presumably as well, the team has now proved to a lot of people that they were in a false position last season, and that really they had the ability that should never have been allowed to get involved in a relegation battle.
Yeah, but ability never wins anything on its own. And last season we've made a lot of schoolboy errors all through the season, and we're luckily given one opportunity to get out of it and relied on Leeds down at Bournemouth. They threw us a lifeline, and this season I think the lads have been determined that we don't embarrass ourselves and do exactly what we did last season. And I think the players have shown this season that we're capable of sustaining the challenge to get promotion to Division 1.
A 3-0 win at Watford followed that point at Newcastle in the league, and it was back to St James's Park for the Rumbelows Cup and a stormy second leg at Newcastle. Mick Quinn was sent off and 5 players were booked by referee George Courtney. A great save there from Stephen Pears, who really has been one of the highlights of Borough's season so far with his superb goalkeeping. This is Faraday for Newcastle. Good strong run down the right. Faraday still with the ball. Headed away there by the Borough defence, but Newcastle still on the attack. Here's John Anderson. Oh, that's a goal for Newcastle after 17 minutes. So Newcastle bring themselves back into this tie. Borough on the attack on this near side. This is Phillips well forward. Ball comes in. Oh, Musto off the woodwork. Borough claiming a goal, but Borough just saying it wasn't. How much we can glean from the slow motion replay? Well, it might have gone across the line off Burridge's body. The corner comes in. Knocked back by Brock. Great save there by Pears. Another corner to Newcastle. Pears must have seen this very late indeed. Dive to his left, a great save. That's how it finished.
What about the players you brought in? Because John Walk, you went out and signed, and that certainly did make people sit up and take notice.
Well, I felt that we always needed an experienced player in the side, especially in midfield. And I brought John in, and he's been doing ever so well. I think he can get better in the terms of talking and doing the role better in that respect. But yeah, I'm happy with him. I mean, John Henry's another one. Robbie Mustoe, Jimmy Phillips I brought in, and all doing extremely well. And with the ones that we had, the other good players we had, we've got a good bunch of players.
John Henry looks a bit of a born-again player again, back to his Bradford days, and scoring some incredible goals for you as well.
Well, what I made clear to John was that when I signed him was that through no fault of his own, he's not really being wanted, I don't think, at Newcastle and Leeds. I mean, Newcastle was different because a manager brought him, then he left, and a new manager comes in and he goes. But I said to John, like, you know, you've got the opportunity now to come into a club who want you. And I look back at the days when I saw you playing at Bradford, and that's how I want you to play. And I think he's been playing like he was when he was at Bradford, which is tremendous.
He didn't score goals like he scored for you, though. I mean, the one against Millwall from one length of the pitch to the other.
Well, I think supporters have taken to him. And I mean, I'll be delighted if he can keep scoring goals or even creating goals, which he has been doing. And a good character, great character, tremendous.
The following Saturday saw Bruce Rioch return to Ayresome Park as manager of Millwall, and he got a great reception on his return to the North East. On the field, it was a goalless first half, but Bernie Saban came very close indeed to giving Borough the lead. Slaven's header going just wide of the far post. Into the second half in bright sunshine. Borough pushing forward again. Hendry finding Slaven on the far side as his cross turned in past his own keeper by Millwall midfielder Alex Ray. 1-0 to the Borough, and they're delighted. Borough on the attack again, and this is a great run from John Hendry. Goes past one defender, goes past another, into the box. Oh, that's a delightful goal. Excellent goal by John Hendry. 2-0 to Middlesbrough. A tremendous goal in slow motion as well. 3 Millwall defenders converging on him. Shrugs them off, goes round a fourth, and buries the ball in the back of the net. But Millwall had at least one say in the matter for Rioch on his return to Ayresome Park, and it was Alex Ray with this effort that made it 2-1, getting a deflection past Steve Pears. Final score, Middlesbrough 2, Millwall 1.
The team started quite quietly, really, but it really seems to have got into its stride recently.
Yes, I mean, I think, when you get sort of new players coming in the summer, everyone's sort of wondering how they'll do. But once you get to know each other's games, everything sort of just takes its own motion.
It must have been doing something to you, because you seem to be getting in, scoring all these wonder goals. The one you got against Millwall, people haven't stopped talking about yet. That was one that even surprised you, wasn't it?
Yeah, aye, without doubt. I don't think I've ever scored as good a goal as that. It's one for the grandchildren, isn't it?
Did you take a fair bit of stick over that one from most of the other players?
Aye, let's say in training, for days after that, even weeks, they're sort of ribbing me, calling me Pele, things like that.
And it was with the left foot, which you tell me isn't your strongest.
No, it's usually for standing on that one, but it's always nice to get a goal with your left peg, it is.
John Hendry there understandably savouring a brilliant goal, but a week later it was Bristol Rovers that were the visitors to Ayresome Park, and Rovers, managed by Jerry Francis, gave Borough more than a little to think about. Devon White there, robbing Tony Mowbray into the box and denied by a good save from Steve Pears. But Borough held on to go in front. Cooper's free kick, a great nod down from Ian Baird, and Paul Kerr makes it 1-0. A great goal in slow motion, that as well. Baird's knocked down, one bounce, Kerr lashing the ball home. Into the second half, 65 minutes on the clock, and Rovers get back on terms. Ball falls to Devon White, and a simple header, and it's 1-1. Borough then going for the kill. Kerr's cross, and that was so close. Robbie Mustoe, but Borough were made to rue that miss, because moments later, Pounder inside the box, dragged down there by Pears. That's a penalty. Tony Pounder free in the box. Pears could do little more than bring him down. This is Ian Holloway from the spot. 2-1 to Bristol Rovers. So Borough now find themselves 2-1 down and eager to try and get back on terms. This is Hendry. That was so close to an equaliser, and somehow Bristol Rovers managed to get the ball away and hung on for all 3 points. Middlesbrough 1, Bristol Rovers 2.
A couple of the other players have said as well about yourself that the old appetite's back for everything, and that the Mogger spirit's back there again. Do you feel that you're right back into it now and back to your best?
Yeah, definitely. I think you spend 10 years at a club, you can get a bit stale sometimes. It's another game, you turn out on a Saturday, and it does become difficult. But that 8-10 months off that I had really did get the appetite back. And I started this season like an 18-year-old again, and still relishing every game, looking forward to it. Because really every game I'm having now is a bonus, really. I know I'm fit again and I'm feeling sharp, but at one stage it wasn't looking too good. So as I say, every game's a special game for me now, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Defeat against Bristol Rovers was followed by another at Wolves, but Borough then went to Brighton on the south coast. Bernie Slaven putting them ahead after 8 minutes. It was 2-0 after 25. Hendry finding Slaven, and he did the rest. Brighton pulled one back through Dean Wilkins, brother of Ray. But then Ian Baird made it 3-1 to Borough. Brighton pulled one back again. Pears diving away to his right, but can't stop Mike Small at the far post. And then Slaven in for his hat-trick, getting beyond the Brighton defence. McKenna coming out, given no chance. And Slaven celebrating his hat-trick with a victory jig with Ian Baird. Baird's pass splitting the Brighton defence. Slaven going on. Goal number 4 for Middlesbrough. And that's how it finished.
Middlesbrough 10-15 years ago had a reputation for being boring borough, but the last 4 to 5 years they've got a real reputation as a footballing side. Colin wants the team to play, doesn't he?
Oh yes, Colin wants us to play from the back and all the way through the team. Ball's going to be on the ground and just play, and it's attractive football. Yeah.
The public here have been great to you, though, don't you think, this
well,
season?
they're brilliant. I mean, we went down with Brighton last Saturday, and it took us alone 8.5 hours to get there on Friday, so heaven knows what it took the supporters there. But they didn't half make themselves heard on Saturday. Brilliant.
And they got a few goals for it against Brighton.
Well, it made the journey back even better, didn't it?
First Division Norwich not finding life easy in the First Division this season were Borough's next opponents in round 3 of the Rumbelows Cup. And after 21 minutes, Paul Kerr pounced on a defensive lapse to drill home his 4th goal of the season. Paul Kerr sliding the ball home, 1-0 to Borough. Those fans delighted. Not exactly First Division defending by Norwich as Kerr pounces, 1-0. 10 minutes later, and it was John Hendry beating Norwich keeper Brian Gunn with his vicious 25-yard effort, which looked a goal the moment it left Hendry's foot. Really set the Essen Park crowds alight this season as John Hendry, and that curling away out of the reach of Gunn. Tremendous goal. Middlesbrough 2, Norwich 0.
When it comes to the pitch, though, teamwork is what it's all about, because as a midfield player yourself, Middlesbrough are a side that want to knock the ball around and want to play from the back through midfield.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we play some good stuff. I mean, the other night against Norwich, I mean, we gave as good as we got, really. We deserve to be in the top flight, I think. And we got the players to do it, and with a bit of luck, and we keep performing the way we have been, there's no reason why we shouldn't be there at the end of the season.
And then you went and did it again, of course, against Norwich in the Rumbelows Cup, another left-footer.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite windy that night, and I think I just tested the wind before I shot, but it's not often they land in the top corner, so you just make the most of it, really.
But does that really show just how much confidence that you've picked up in the last 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, if you've got a confidence, then you'll try anything. Whereas, I mean, if the spirits are down, then I mean, it's just not the same, it isn't.
What have been the performances so far this season that have impressed you? The ones that you've come away from and thinking, now that's the way we've got to play.
Well, I think the other night was a great game for us. We're playing against first team opposition, and we're playing against another team that likes to play football, and we felt that we matched them on the night, and obviously we came away with a win. But overall, we felt that we matched them over the pitch, and we think we're getting there, you know, with performances like that.
The month of November for Borough began with a 1-0 win over Barnsley. Paul Kerr on the mark again after just 4 minutes, with his effort deflected beyond keeper Clive Baker. The ball breaking to Kerr on the edge of the box, a little bit fortunate, but he does well. Chipping the ball over Clive Baker. Slaven knocks it in at the far post, but I think that's definitely Paul Kerr's goal. He certainly believes it is. Does very well. The ball just might have flicked off the Barnsley defender's foot. Certainly deceived Clive Baker. Nice goal from Kerr into the second half, and Barnsley still eager to try and get something out of this game. But Borough held out thanks to Stephen Pears, and on this occasion the woodwork. Pears beaten on that occasion and that, but grateful to see the ball go wide. But Pears has certainly kept Middlesbrough ahead on points this season. That's another superb save, and the crowd applaud him to a man in those seats behind the Middlesbrough goal. Great save. Middlesbrough 1, Barnsley 0.
Perhaps on the other extreme, someone like Robbie Mustoe, who wasn't a household name, who wasn't familiar to the Teesside public, has come in and certainly made his impression, because he's chipped in with some good goals.
Robbie's, I mean, that was one of the reasons of getting Robbie. Good engines, could create, but would always get on the end of chances, and he's done that. But as well as the ones that I've signed, I mean, we've got Stephen Pears, who I believe is one of the top 6 keepers in the league. I do. I sincerely believe that. Then Colin Cooper's come back to his best, and Tony Mowbray, who we thought might not make it, has been very, very consistent. I mean, it's his testimonial year, and he'll be looking for a very good season, not only from himself but from the team.
Tony really is Middlesbrough in many ways, isn't he? You know, if Mogger's right, the team seems to be right.
I think that's true to a certain degree. Then Paul Kerr has come back and not let anybody down. I mean, he's playing for his future and doing superbly. But overall, we have a good set of players here. I mean, I've mentioned a few, and there's still others: Proctor, Putney, Stuart Ripley, and we have as good a squad as anybody.
So November off to a successful start for Borough with that win against Barnsley and another at West Brom with Bernie Slaven on the mark in the 89th minute. But then followed a real upset against Charlton. Robert Lee putting the Londoners ahead after 22 minutes. Tony Mowbray doing all but clearing the ball away from the net. So Borough a goal down into the second half. Flicked on there for Ian Baird to get beyond the Londoners' defence and fire home the equaliser. Middlesbrough 1, Charlton 1. Good work there by Mowbray. The header certainly deceived the three Charlton defenders and Baird took his goal superbly. But then came a penalty for Charlton. Robert Lee put the ball through to Alex Dyer on loan from Crystal Palace. Dyer went down in the box. Didn't look a penalty, but the referee thought it was, and that was the most important thing. Mowbray complains, so does Steve Pears. Dyer falls to the ground, penalty given. So it's going to be Tommy Caton then against Steve Pears. Boos ringing around the ground, but they don't put off Caton. He scores. Charlton are ahead. Dyer celebrates, so does Robert Lee. Good penalty by Caton makes the final score Middlesbrough 1, Charlton 2.
Now you're grafting away at the moment, trying to get back to match fitness, which isn't too far away now. When you look at the team, it's not going to be an easy team to break into now, is it?
Oh, it's not. I mean, I just count the midfield players every time they come out. No, I mean, it's just only healthy for the team, I suppose, competition. I mean, it keeps everybody on their toes. I mean, it means that week in, week out, they've got to go out and play because they know somebody in the stand can come and just take their places. You just look at the centre-backs at the moment. Alan Kennigan and Tony Mowbray are doing a magnificent job. And we've got, 500,000 players. Simon Coleman sat in the stand, who's a very good player. So it just shows you the competition, which is, Mr. Todd's done brilliant with that. And I mean, it's healthy for the team. Though it's disappointing when you're not in it, but that's the way it goes.
How does this team or squad compare to the other Middlesbrough teams that you've played in that have become successful?
Very well, actually. I mean, you just look at the quality players that the manager's brought in. John Hendry, I mean, you've seen for yourself the goals that you've covered on Tyne Tees this year. Incredible individual skills and ability at attacking players and getting at people. Robbie Mustoe scored nearly half a dozen goals already coming up to Christmas. Ian Baird, who came in towards the end of last season, I mean, you'd think he'd been a Borough lad all his life, the way his attitude for the club and the game is. John Walker again, an old head, sat in there doing a very professional job. So the people we've brought in doing very, very well, and that sort of mixed with the players we already had here, it's looking good, yeah.
Portsmouth were ready to pay for that upset against Charlton, with Borough winning 3-0 at Fratton Park the following week. Bernie Slaven shooting home the first after Andy Gosney had parried the initial effort. 1-0 to Borough. Ian Baird's a former Pompey player. That's why he enjoyed scoring this goal so much. 2-0 to Middlesbrough. And they made it 3-0 when this cross from John Hendry was turned into his own net by Gary Stevens. A great day for Borough down on the south coast. It finished Portsmouth 0, Middlesbrough 3.
I don't think you really make too many secrets about what you think is your contribution to the team, because you're there to really give that bit of physical presence up front and really battle away there in the front line.
Yeah, when Bruce Rioch bought me, he sort of made that point. And I think I've contributed in that way.
What's it like playing alongside Bernie Slaven? Because he's a very different sort of player, but he's always going to get more than his share of goals.
Yeah, Bernie is probably the best finisher I've ever played against. Played with, sorry. I played with Mick Quinn at Portsmouth, but for me, Bernie's a much better player and a much better finisher.
Is there any competition between the two of you to see who gets the goals?
I think Bernie will finish on top.
But you're quite happy to be the supplier as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'll never be a prolific goal scorer, but hopefully I'll be able to weigh in with me few. And as long as the team's winning and I'm in the side, it doesn't bother me.
What about the Newcastle games as well? Because that was quite a little local series and you came out on top.
Well, again, I think Colin will always say local derbies, form means nothing in those games, and it was terrific to come away after the 3 matches. I know we lost the game at the end, but we did go through, and it was good to come out on top. But I mean, looking back again, you mentioned last season, and the big one was the 4-1 victory. That's probably puts us where we are now.
People say, of course, Middlesbrough had a new manager in Colin Todd and Bruce Rioch going after all that he did for the club, but has it seemed like much of a change? Because Colin's been here all the time, of course.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Toddy hasn't. I mean, there you just see, you call him Toddy and he doesn't mind that. He always was, as a coach, a sort of a players type of coach. You could go to Toddy with all your problems and just have a good chat at the side of the pitch about things that aren't going right and stuff, and he's just carried that along. There's been no sort of dramatic pull away from the players sort of thing. He's kept in there and mixed with the players really well, and the players feel as if they can again just approach Toddy with any problems or anything that doesn't feel is going right on the park. So it's going really well, and it's helped create a very happy dressing room.
There's always a promotion or a relegation battle, it seems, at Middlesbrough over the last few years. Is it going to be a promotion battle this season?
Yeah, I'm very hopeful that all the lads are. We want it desperately for the supporters who've stuck by us over the last couple of years. I mean, average gates of 17,000, 18,000 every week. So we're desperate to do it for them and obviously for ourselves, yeah.
The Zenith Data Cup was the next competition on Borough's agenda. Hull City were the opposition coming to Ayresome Park, and they took Borough into extra time with an equaliser in the very last minute of normal time. Ian Baird powered home Borough's first with this header. But then Hull equalised with Waite timing his run to perfection to make it 1-1 in the dying seconds. Good build up there on the left by Hull. The ball comes across and there's Waite to head the ball past Steve Pears and make it Middlesbrough 1, Hull 1, and the match into extra time. 8 minutes into the extra period, and it was Tony Mowbray heading Borough in front from this well-worked set piece, climbing high, and the ball in the back of the net, past Ian Hesford, 2-1 to Borough. Into the second half of extra time, and Middlesbrough wanting, understandably, to press home their advantage. Great work there by Slaven. Looked up. Hesford, Slaven on the mark again. And that's goal number 3 for Borough. Hesford a little bit unlucky here. Parries the first shot from Slaven, gets it away with his right fist, but the ball falls gratefully to Slaven again, and that's the way it finished. Middlesbrough 3, Hull 1.
Do you think, though, that the goals are being shared around a little more this season, with Ian Baird coming in and now Robbie Mustoe and Paul Kerr's got a few?
Yeah, of course, and I think it's a good thing, because the great teams of this world, everybody scores, like the Liverpools, Arsenals, they all scored goals, and we're scoring goals at the minute.
Takes a bit of pressure off you.
Yeah, of course it does, because I go out on a Saturday now and I know if I'm not going to score that somebody else will score, and that's a good feeling.
As you say, it's always the goal scorers that get the glory, but a lot of the improvement in Borough this season has been based on getting it tight at the back again. Do you feel that has been a foundation for the other lads to score the goals?
Yeah, as long as we don't let any in, then we've always got a point. You know, and then if Bernie or Ian can sneak one, which they're always liable to do, then you come away with 3 points, which is a lot better, obviously, than none.
There are some very good second division sides around. The Sheffield Wednesdays, the West Hams, the Oldhams have all shown. You're quite confident you can get up there amongst those teams?
I think so. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to drop into the second division, but it's the hardest thing to get out of. But as I say, if we can keep performing, and the confidence is sky high now, I mean, there's no reason why we can't stick a few good results together. I mean, it's like a domino effect. You win games, and you can't ever see yourself losing again. And that's how it's been really over the last few weeks, sort of thing. But in contrast to last year, where we was losing and we couldn't find out where the next win was going to come from. But as I say, if we can keep plugging away and have a little bit of luck and keep performing well, we'll be up there at the end of the season, no doubt.
It's a very open promotion race this season in the second division. Do you believe that Middlesbrough can be right at the heart of that?
I hope so, yes, and I believe we can be. There's a good 10 teams, I think, in the division, all capable of beating each other, and probably will over the season. And I think it's around next March that if you can get a good run together, that would be the telling time to get some results.
It wouldn't be a proper season for Middlesbrough if they weren't in either relegation or promotion battle, would it?
Well, that's right. Hopefully it'd be promotion this year, not relegation, yeah.
The final Saturday of November saw Borough in rampant mood at Oxford in a 7-goal thriller. Borough in front after just 3 minutes. John Walk's free kick, nodded in by Ian Baird. Oxford 0, Borough 1. It was 2-0. Jimmy Phillips, a former Oxford player. That cross, terrible keeping by Paul Key. Slaven's task, a simple one. Borough 2 up. But Oxford rallied well in the first half. This is Nogan on the ball. Slips the ball through to Mark Steen. That's 2-1. And then Nogan himself. A mistake there. Nogan nipping in. Past one tackle, past two. Slips the ball home. That's 2-2 to Oxford. But Borough won the game in the second half. First of 2 penalties this. Ian Baird brought down. Baird himself with the kick. 3-2 to Borough. Slaven. Baird's cross. And there's Mustoe, another former Oxford player. So 4-2 then. And the 5th goal came from the penalty spot as well. Slaven brought to the ground. Baird needing this for a hat-trick. Key goes one way, the ball goes the other. 5-2 to Middlesbrough. Baird's hat-trick, a great day for him, a great day for Middlesbrough. They win 5-2 at the Manor.
You've got some men who can score some goals for you. Bernie Slaven scores them year in, year out. That's almost comes for granted. But Ian Baird as well is fitting in alongside him.
Yes, I mean, Ian Baird, I think, might have been one of the reasons why we probably stayed in the second division with his aggression. I think without Ian, then we might have just might not been where we are now, because I mean he leads the line very well, and as a manager you need someone in the team who has that aggression, and probably we didn't have anyone like that at the time, but since he's come we've got it, and along with Bernie or Stewart they have a good understanding.
What about the rest of the season? What sort of a prospect can you see for Middlesbrough at the moment?
We've been a little bit inconsistent at home, but we're picking up points away from home. As long as you know, we can win most of our home games and get the odd point away, you know, I think the future's rosy.
You know what it's like playing for this club. You've seen it all the way through the difficult periods and right up into the times when things were really bouncing. A lot of the players here really do feel a lot for the club, don't they?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think even if you ask the new lads that come, I mean, I think when you look at the stadium and they come in, I mean, they're 4th bottom of the second division and you're pulling in average 18,000. I mean, the passion here is tremendous on Teesside. And that's the same for Newcastle and Sunderland. I mean, the fans are frightening here. And yeah, we've seen some good times and bad times, but I mean, I love the area, and Tony, especially Tony Moby, we've been here the longest, and I mean, I don't think we'd ever leave.
The supporters have been great, haven't they, this year particularly, because they stuck with you right through the times when things were going badly.
Yeah, as I just previously said, I mean, in the second division last year, I mean, to be honest, it was a nightmare. And then you look at them again this season, I mean, you look at our crowds, I look at the papers every Sunday morning, I look at the crowds and I look at the Wimbledons and the Lutons, and I mean, we're pulling nearly 20,000. It's a shame that, because they do deserve first division football here, and hopefully we'll bring it to them this season.
I mean, most of the players here know what it's all about to get promotion because they've been through it 2 or 3 different times. Do you think this team is capable of really challenging all through the season?
Well, I think the squad is. I think before we used to talk in team when it used to be the same 11 every week, but now we've got a squad that's capable of getting up there. The players that will come in will not weaken the side in any way, and I think if we hang around the top 6 come the end of the season, then we'll be happy with that.
Then it's down to the playoffs, and everything's up for grabs then if you're in that.
Well, we've got the experience of the playoffs and we're quite good, I think, on 2 legs, and obviously you aim for the first 3, but in view of the fact what happened last season, good cup runs and the top 6 wouldn't be a bad season at all for us, I think.
There'll be plenty for the supporters to cheer in 91.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we want to give them something to really cheer about, because I mean, coming from East Anglia, the people are not really that passionate, I don't think. You know, they go to watch the game, but they're not like the people up here. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, especially away, and I mean, they're different class, and if we could really get up there and really be pushing for a promotion, I think, they're worth a goal start really at home, really good.
Now, I'd never expect managers or coaches to start talking about promotion. That's always a forbidden word in dressing rooms, but the ambitions must be set fairly high at the moment.
Well, you have to set your sights high and your ambitions high, and we're now in a good position. We've lost 4 games, and to be honest, we can't afford to lose many more. And the aim is for promotion. If it has to be by way of the playoffs, so be it. But promotion is the ambition.
Can't finish without a word for the fans as well, because they've had the ups and downs, and they've stood with you all the way, haven't they?
Tremendous. I mean, we've had great support over the years here, and even when I took over, when we were struggling, we were getting gates of 18,000. So it just shows you that they wanted us to stay in the second division. And I think now that we've stayed in the second, they'll be looking for us to even climb higher. And I'll just like to say to them, keep turning up, and we'll do our best for you.
And it could be a good 1991.
We hope so. We hope so.